Hello, everyone. G, are you there? So let's take care of some house stuff. So let me know how the sound is and image. And also let me know if the chat works. So if you can check in a little bit so that I can know everything is working good, that'd be great. So I believe it's been a while since, okay, so chat is working. That we met again, and so I've been looking forward for for this chat. I've been doing a little bit of research, and so I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to do this live stream when is meaningful. Uh, Hi Sherry, how are you? So keep checking in. Don't hide. Say something so I know who is online. Okay, I'm sending email. Okay, I'll check the email. But if you can resend it, that'd be great. Usually, if you don't hear back from me, when you send an email and you don't hear back from me 48 hours, then it's probably I never received them. So I try to be on top of those things. Okay, Darren, I see you. Joseph, I see you. Okay, so the last, I think, live stream that I did, was it a live stream? Yes, I did. Live stream I did was about solar. And I wanted to Mr. K, thanks for checking in. I wanted to do a little bit of work, and then so when I come back, I can actually understand all these things and what it's about. So I have been working on the solar stuff, and also some of the subscribers also mentioned generators, and I went back and I revisited generator being an option also. Okay, so how I want to do the live stream is I'm going to talk about the solar stuff. I'm going to try to wrap it up in about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you some numbers, calculation wise, so then you know that at what point does the solar actually becomes a good investment. Okay. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go through the pros and cons between solar and diesel generators, and then I'm gonna go through the calculations, and then we're just gonna take it from there. But if you're in there, you can keep checking in, and then after that, we can start diving into questions related to this or questions that is not part of this. Anyway, so if you want, you can grab a pen and paper, after the next 5 minutes, and then we do the numbers together. So solar and generator, so that's the big thing, right? So in Ghana right now, the doomsaw, has become a lot of problem again. So as we are building, especially doing the electrical work, I always say let's make provisions for these things. Just do it right there. It doesn't really cost a lot more, but it's just important to just do it, lay the foundation for either someday to be able to add solar or generator. The same system will be the same. So I think we should, if your electrician is not suggesting that, then maybe I think you should bring it up and say, you know what, I want all my wiring done. I want to make this provision now so that down the road, I'm not, when I'm living in it, I'm not going to crack walls and put wiring. So it will cost you a lot if you have to go back and do it. Okay, so the benefit of solar is, and one of the most important things is pollution free, right? So if you care about the environment, which we should all do, okay, solar is a good option. There's no greenhouse gases, and that kind of stuff. Okay, it's also a renewable clean power, right? So every day of the year, you can still have access to solar. Even on the cloudy days, you will be able to produce some power. And so then one of the things, like, you also get some return on investment, unlike tied to the grid and paying like monthly, right? And then also one of the benefit of solar also too is like it has minimal maintenance, and so which is good, and also it can be installed virtually anywhere, right? And the panels last a long time, like about 30 years for the panels. Okay. And also you can use solars, to heat up like water, can you power your homes or buildings, right? But the disadvantages for solar is the high cost, especially the initial cost for installation, right? So that's a disadvantage. And also it has a long ROI, which is return on investment. It actually takes some time for you actually to get that investment. Another problem with that, the solar installation too, is like it needs a lot of space, right? So you have to have space, um, and okay, and it's not 100% efficient. Okay, they're still working on it, but it's not there yet. So another thing too is like, you have to think about nighttime, right? So no solar power at nighttime. So that means you have to buy, a large, battery bank. You have to have more batteries to store the energy for the night usage, right? And depending on your geographical location, the size of the solar panels varies, right? For the same power generation. Ghana, we okay, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay. And so like on the cloudy days though, one of the issues you have to watch about, you don't produce a lot of energy. And so one of the reasons why solar installation is very, very expensive is because like it's not being mass produced due to the lack of materials and also the technology to lower the cost enough to make it more affordable, right? So there's not a lot of companies making them, and so what challenges being having the material and the technology to mass produce, so that affects the high cost. Now I'll talk about diesel. For diesel, there's a lot of different varieties, right? There's natural gas diesel. No, the generators, there's different kinds. There's a natural gas, and then there's like a diesel, and then I think there's a petroleum fuel or something like that. So I would like to compare the solar with the best of all the diesel, which is of the generators, which is the diesel generator, right? So the advantage for a generator, the diesel one, is it's cheaper than solar. I mean, overall, it's very cheaper than solar. It's most efficient, very efficient. Okay. Also involves some low maintenance. You only need to change oil, fuel, air filter, and oil filter like at the end of the year or something like that. And it is very safe to store, and it lasts long. So that is the benefit of diesel generator. Now the disadvantage of diesel generator is like you know the fuel may not be accessible during like blackout, right? So in a situation that the doom soil is so bad and everybody needs diesel, right? You can, based on your location, so shortage might be a problem, right? So you have to factor that in, unless you have a storage tank somewhere in your house that you can keep several thousands of gallons of diesel in it. So and another thing is like, because like a place like Ghana, we import these things, there can be low availability. So that means it's going to increase the cost, right? So we have to factor that into, all right. And also, like the thing with diesel generator is like you have to be keeping up on your maintenance. It's very, very important. If you want to extend the lifespan of the system, you have to be doing maintenance. Okay. Then it can be loud. The panels are much. I don't think they make any noise. The generators on that can be loud, very loud. So you may need to have like sound barrier or something like that, or maybe put it further away. The new systems are much quieter though. So and stuff like that. So now I'm gonna talk about like, we're gonna make some assumption. I'm gonna give you facts. So you remember the last live stream that I did about a $50,000 solar. I'm gonna go into a little bit details, and then I'm gonna compare the cost of solar installation and diesel, and then we're gonna figure it out. So I want to give you this information because it's not a clear cut, okay, thing. So I want to give you this information so you can think about this thing. So solar. So I'm gonna use that code specifically. So let's make the assumption that we're gonna have each system for about 10 years. So that's the lifespan. So the initial cost of materials installation for solar is $50,000 for 15 kVA. So kVA is the measure of power in an electrical circuit, right? So that's the amount of power you're going to need. So for 50K, you're getting 15 kVA, right? On top of that, this is solar right now. On top of that, you pay 2% maintenance fee annually, right? So the 2% on the 50K is about $1,000. It is $1,000 a year that you're going to be paying. And a lot of people think that you don't have to maintain solar. That's false. You have to maintain them. Okay. So that 1K a year, if you extend it to the 10 years, that is $10,000, right? So you already put 50K initially, and the 10 years span just on maintenance alone is $10,000. So you at 60,000 now, right? 60,000. Okay. Then in that lifespan, you also have to replace the batteries. Okay. In that 10 years, right, you're not using lithium batteries, which is the best, or the Powerball that Tesla has, right? In that span, right, you are going to be replacing the battery at least twice. I mean, you can push it one time. That means you have to be running the solar AC at it's like you're not kind of like depleting the whole cycle. So you're running a little bit low. But we are making the assumption that you are running the system at its all max, right? That is the assumption we're making. So the quote that I got for 50,000, right? 24,000 alone was for batteries. So now you at 60,000, right? 50K, 10,000 for 10 years of maintenance. Let's say you replace the battery twice. They give you a low battery. So the batteries are, let's say, a little cheaper. And you have to replace it twice, right? In that, replacing let's say the 5-year one will cost you at least 10,000 or more. So you double that, you're about 20,000. You add the 20,000 to the 60 that you already invested, you're at 80, right? You're at 80,000 alone for 10 years. Okay? The assumption means we are doing 10 years, and the system, that 15 kVA, is sufficient to run everything on your house, right? And you are running the solar for everything. You're not tapping into the grid. You're not on the public electricity. You're just going solar. So you are 80K, $80,000, 10 years. Let's go to generator. Same conditions for generator, right? 10-year span, assuming you are off the grid, you're just on generators. Okay. Initial cost for the 15 kVA is about $10,000, right? That's a fact. That is not an opinion. Okay. I'm going to make an assumption that you're going to use the same 2% maintenance fee for the generator, right? That 2% from the 10K is $200, a year, right? Changing the oil filter and that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm going to make another bit of an assumption. So let's say on a monthly basis for the diesel generator, you are spending about $600 on fuel. Okay. You can pick any number. I'm just using 600. That's $600 a month, times 12, right? Will put you about 7,200, right? Okay. So now, right, 7,200. We're using that. So now we have the yearly cost of fuel plus the maintenance, which is like 200, right? So that put us about, so the yearly cost of fuel is about 7,200 plus 200 in maintenance. So that's 7,400, okay? We multiply that times 10, right? We add 74,000, okay? Then you add the $10,000 for the initial cost of the diesel generator, right? Okay, we add 84,000 in 10 years, okay? So 84,000 in 10 years, right? You can go back and look at the numbers, okay? So $84,000 in 10 years for diesel generator, 80,000 for the solar. It's about close. I'm giving the solar a benefit of that, but I think it's probably going to cost more than 80,000. Okay. So now so I hope you are noticing what is happening. What is happening is that your solar doesn't start paying off to about 10 years and up, right? So people think that is why I said that one of the disadvantage of solar is like your return on investment is longer, right? Right. So you don't benefit right away. So it's a short-term thing, then nothing beats diesel. And diesel produce more power than solar. It's much more efficient. Okay. So what you want to be thinking about too is that, okay, if I'm going to get a return on my investment after 10 years, right? From now to 10 years, what is the solar technology is going to be like, right? I would say it's probably going to be better. I'll probably say is that technology is going to improve, battery is going to improve. There'll be more companies in there, so there'll be competition, and the installation costs will probably drop, right? So we have to start thinking about this thing, right? We shouldn't make it like an emotional decision. You have to sit down and start calculating these things, right? Because until you do that, you make a rash decision and then find out that, oh, okay, maybe the other way should have been, the better option. If money was not an issue, you know you could just go solar. You can put 50, 70, 100K, just get solar, and then that's fine, right? But for most of us, that we're looking at the numbers, right? Because there's other things that we also have to factor in, right? Then we have to start calculating stuff. So for me, I was emotionally attached to solar, okay? But the cost gave me some other options to check the diesel generator, okay? And so that led me into these calculations, right? To see that, hey, even for the 50K, to be honest, even for the 50K was not even enough to sustain the power needs, um, on the requirement for the house, right? I still have to use certain ACs and not turn all of them on. So I was still restricted. So financially, it didn't make sense for to put that this thing was not feasible, and it didn't make any sense. So yes, you have to think about the environmental factors, with diesel and that kind of stuff. That's a big deal. But I also think that it's like, just work your numbers, okay? You can use these numbers. You can even increase the amount of diesel that you use, per month and stuff like that. But in the end, solar doesn't always, benefit you until down the road, 10, 15, 20 years. I run another calculation that I'm not going to share here, and it looks like for my house, if I'm able to build solar to sustain everything, I don't break even to about 25 years. That's way too long. Okay, things would have changed by then. So let me know if this helps. I can post it in the description section after the video and stuff like that. So that is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. It's about doing your course. The most thing is that make sure when you're doing the wiring, they are doing these things right. See, it's like a qualified electrician should be bringing this up and be doing them. Make provisions for that. Okay, make provisions for all this stuff because of I did it for myself. So they don't, whether I choose solar or generator, it's plugging. They're not chipping anything. Everything's all white. Everything is set. They just have to connect that. Okay, so I think it's important, and it didn't cost me. The only thing it cost me was like I have one cable for the generator, but all the wiring was the same thing. Okay, so do your numbers, and it's not a clear cut through which one is better and stuff like that. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. At the end of the day, it's like what do you want, and the money makes sense, right? The money makes sense. And so that is the thing. I always say that when it comes to money, if anything has involved money, it's not an emotional decision, it's a mental decision. You have to sit down, and that's where you have to be disciplined and make the good decision. So you know what, yes, I want these things, but for this price, no. So and that kind of stuff. If you can do solar, go for it. If you can do diesel generators, go for it, but do your homework. Do your homework. I spent a week figuring this thing out, and I was like, okay, at least I have both to compare. So I have to make a decision which direction I'm going to go, and I have some information to support that. Okay. So if that makes sense, okay, if you have any questions, you can start, throwing them in. My goal is not to get this live stream to an hour. I'm trying to bring it and 35, 40 minute ish and stuff. So like somebody said, Felicity said, the topic was, the cost analysis of solar and generator, the pros and cons and that kind of stuff. So so somebody said, are you planning to go? Yeah, going, if for my house, I mean, you guys have seen the house, right? If I want to go full solar, okay, full solar, like get off the grid and run everything at any point, I'm thinking about it's probably going to cost me about $75,000. Okay, that means have enough battery, enough panels, and everything, so then I can turn the AC on anytime I want, run everything in the house. That's about much, right? No way, right? So they add up. Yes, there was the option to do partial solar and then eventually add, but one, you start adding the batteries, right? Once, let's say you do half, you start adding the batteries are expensive. So in the end, it's still catching up to you, right? Because every minimum, some batteries are bad. You have to replace them at 2 years, right? And some of them 5 years. The good ones that are real expensive, it's about 10 years, right? And so even if it take you 10 years and you have to replace them, you can't replace like one battery. You have to replace all of them. And we're talking about 20, 30, 40,000 just on batteries. That's a lot of money, and I think that a lot of people don't know this, right? Because people tell them, oh, jump on this, jump on that. And then they get in there and then they find out that, oh, I have solar, but I'm also using about 80%, on the grid, and that kind of stuff. So it depends what you want. You can do hybrid, you can do, 50% on doom, so, like on the grid, and then 50% on solar and stuff like that. You can pick and choose what system you want to put in solar. You can do that, but the comparison that I gave you was more like if you have to get off the grid, like you don't want to use ECG, and then you want to just, sustain yourself, energy wise. The calculation, that's what I use. It's like in the short term, diesel generator. It's not even close. Long term, 10, 15, 20 years, solar. So that is what that is the thing that I think you have to think about and stuff. So now, if the solar initial cost was lower, like really lower, then I'll say solar the best right away. But because of the initial cost, is just that kind of like changes the whole game. Okay, changes the whole game. And my attitude is like in the 10 years from now, technology will change, systems will get better. There'll be better things, and then maybe another system will come that that even it's not even solar related or something. So if I do generator, like it makes sense now, because because with solar I'm only gonna benefit after 10 years, but then I put this lot of money. No, because from now to 10 years, things would have changed, right? So, but I wanted to give you that so you can have that information, and you can plug in any numbers you want. I made some numbers were facts, some were assumption, like the cost were a fact, the maintenance fee for the solar was a fact. These are codes that I got and all that kind of stuff. I also got in code for generator, and so I know the price and stuff like that. But the cool thing about it is like for the price of a solar system, you could get 3 to 4 times the power on a generator, right? So for my house that I have a lot of things running, going solar would be almost impossible fully, but generator, yeah. Okay, even if that generator lasts me, if it lasts me 5 years and I replace it, I probably have to, even if the generator lasts me 5 years and I replace it after 5 years, every 5 years, it'll still take about maybe 4 times to equal the cost of solar. So it's just about thinking about this thing. Okay. Any questions? So I'll give you a quick update. The guys are doing my AC. So I'm using this company. I think they're okay. I mean, I'm gonna test the AC. So they started yesterday. They're working on it. They slept. They slept over there last night. I was told they work all the way into the wee hours. They slept about 2 hours. Woke up early this morning. They started working. So probably will be done today. Or I think so. By today they are done. So after that, I'm gonna test it, and then I'm gonna put a video out there. I have to do some little touch up because they had a chisel. You know how it is. I was chiseling something. So I have to do a little bit touch up, and then I'll send the installation and then the completed video. Hopefully, sometime around this time next week. Okay. And so then by the end of next week, I'll make a decision. I'll solve my power issue. I'll solve my power issue and stuff like that. Because for me, there's two things that are important to me. You want to maintain your water system. You don't want to rely on because anytime you don't have to use anything that is public in Ghana, your quality of life, okay, goes up. So that means you are not stressing. You're not going to some office fighting with somebody. And my thing is like water and power. If you can do these two things, you will reduce your stress level by 70%. Okay. So trust me, and stuff like that. So we need to start thinking about these things. You see, so like if I decide to go generator, one of the things is like I'm trying to go like European, something made in Europe, because of the power issue with Ghana and stuff like that, similar. And I think they've gotten better. I mean, it's like where I work, we have, and the school where I work, the school has money. They can put $2-3 million into solar if they want to. But for some reason, the school is on generators. It makes sense to me. And they are quiet. There's about maybe 5-6 of them. They are quiet. I never hear them. There have been one or two occasions that the power outage when happened, we have to automatically kick on the generators, and they were quiet. So I will use better. So just do your homework. There's a company, Perkins make good engines, for the diesel generators. Some of the European companies. So do some research, and then try to find a company in Ghana that sells those. Okay, stuff like that. So I think to be honest, I'm leaning towards that. I'm talking to one company and stuff like that, and it looks like they're gonna order it from UK or something like that, and stuff like that. So, but I want to go through that whole process and then talk about my experience and that kind of stuff, and so, but do your homework, do your numbers, and then make sure that it makes sense what you're trying to do, right? But the provisions is very, very important because for the AC guys, when they went to my house, they didn't have to do anything. They only had there's only one little pipe that they have to like bend to connect to the AC. But other than that, everything, the copper pipes, everything, the wiring, everything was done in there. They didn't have to do anything. That is the reason why, I respect my electrician, right? He has foresight. There's a lot of good people out there in Ghana that knows their work, but they don't think beyond what they are doing. They don't think about what happens if this person wants to add these appliances. Even stuff like sometimes bathrooms, like, making an outlet, for you to plug in your, you know, hair blower, or like even like shaving, machine or something like that. Some people don't even think about it and that kind of stuff. So that's why I always say get involved. Get involved. Yeah, the cool thing about the generators, like, what is funny? The funny thing is that, how the solar, the quote was like 15 kVA. I saw a generator that was like 45 kVA, right? My house, I probably need about 25 kVA to run everything. But then when I looked at the 30 kVA and the 45 kVA, the difference between from 30 to 45 was about $1,100, right? So then I'm like, okay, so if I decide to go generator, it makes sense to go to 45 kVA. I don't need all that power. But what if down the road I want to put like a pool? I want to do heated pool, right? Or I do like a boy scouters, right? And then I have to put that, right? So planning, right? Down the road. So if I make that move, I have power needs for whatever I do down the road. I can build another whole structure over there and I still don't have to add up another generator, right? So sometimes it's about maybe thinking beyond your needs. And you always, regardless what system you're using, you don't want to push it to the limit, right? If your house need 15 kVA, okay, you don't install 15 kVA, go 25. So you're always running, like a little bit 60%, maybe 70%, but not more beyond that, because then that is going to keep your system longer, right? You don't want to stress it and stuff like that. But they are getting quieter, the generators, they are getting quieter, and it has improved, and there's better options right now. Okay, so do your homework. Solar is if you can't afford it, go for it. Is the best long run, but I also think about these two things, very, very well, because I know a lot of people. I have friends that have had solar, but it's very, very limited. Very, very limited. They probably are using about between 30 to 40% of their appliances, right? So for me, it's just like, I mean, what point does it make? I live in a house, sitting, you have a guest, their room doesn't have light, or they can't use theirs, only one side of the house. It doesn't make any sense. So either you go for it or you don't go for it. Okay. So any more questions? Solar. Okay. How much solar? It depends. It's like, it depends. It depends. So at the end of the day, and the solar company that I was talking to, I like them. They will give me quality materials and everything. The reason why I know they are quality materials because I have a friend that called me that there's a solar company in Minnesota. The owners wanted to talk to me. So yes, the owner called a couple of weeks ago, and then last week, and we talked, and I sent him the quote and he came back. He checked with his distributors, he came back, and we explained, the quote and all that kind of stuff. So that's his area of expertise. So that let me know that, and he has no financial gain or anything like that. But that made me aware that, hey, they were using the right batteries and the system, all that kind of stuff, right? The installation is cheap. Compared to everything else, right, that you are paying for. So, you can do solar for 5,000, not much. 10,000, not really. But it's like, it depends what you want. There's a lot of cheap batteries, all kinds of stuff in there. But my attitude is, take your time, do something right, and enjoy. Okay. If that means it takes you don't live with solar for 2 years, 3 years. And I think solar and generators are luxury. How many of us grew up in Ghana with solar? No, I don't think, there was even solar there when I left. So it's a luxury, right? It's a luxury and stuff like that. So, but I think it's a luxury that is worth to have. So some people use, so that's a hybrid, right? When you use the solar as a backup, right? So you on the grid, so you're running the grid, when doomsday happens, right? And the doomsday thing, let's not kid ourselves, it's probably going to be like this in our lifetime. Okay? They're just playing games. I don't care what group comes in. It's just a little game they play. They are not interested in solving that issue. So let's not kid ourselves. It has nothing to do with like a political party. It's just a little game they are playing. So so that's what most people do. They're on a grid hybrid. So they're on a grid, then the doomsday happens, then the solar kicks in. But even when the solar kicks in, unless you have a lot of money to put everything on solar, you probably have to designate, okay, you want my refrigerator, I want a microwave, I want a TV, or I want some lighting system to be on that. But it's not something that everything in the house can be ran on the solar. For that, it's going to cost you a lot of money, a lot of money. Okay, so you can do that, and then you can add up. You can add up like panels and batteries and that kind of stuff. So that is one option. I think that's what most people are doing, which is they will do a little bit and add up and stuff like that. The batteries, though, you can't add up. So the batteries is like either you put all brand new ones, at a time of, when you want to change them. You can't add old and new. Okay. So it depends. It depends. I think we need to like, we need to think about this thing. Like for my house, I think I will, if I go generator, I'm going 45 kVA. I probably need about 25, for the setup now, but I'm going 45 because when I looked at 30 and the 45, the difference in terms of cost was much lesser than going from like 15 to 30. So it's like, and I also I'm looking long term, because at a certain point I have to do something to the other side of the land. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to be able to connect it to the generator, and I know that I'm set. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay, so if you send me an email and you don't hear back from me 48 hours, okay, latest 72, just send another one. Okay, I think I've answered that. I think I've answered them. Because when I do get them, I try to respond quickly. So unless if it's certain things. Okay. Now business. Okay, I'm working on some stuff. Don't want to go into too much details because it's like in the infancy, and so. But I'm putting some stuff together because I feel like talking to you guys, whether through chat, whether through live stream, whether through emails, or some of you on the phone. I think there's a need for us to do something, and so I'm thinking about things that we can do, and stuff like that for business to just do things the right way, just do things the right way, and stuff like that. So, and for me, whatever I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do it the right way. That's the only way. I'm not gonna cut corners, stuff like that. So I'm gonna do it the right way, and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about it's like when I come back from Ghana, or even while I'm in Ghana, something like that, I'm gonna launch, a couple of businesses. It's like about three of them, two connected, one separate. So minimum two. The one that is separate, I think it might be more closer to the end of the year, or like early next year. But so then we can talk about that. Yeah. So a 4 bedroom, it's not even stone. You say 10K. So it's like, they tell you that, right? They tell you that, so they can tell you, for this house, because they go into the house, and then they look at the appliances, they look at the needs and that kind of stuff, and they come up with a number, right? That's speculation, though, right? So they are assuming that you're not going to do any add-on, right? You're not going to, but chances are you may do something. You may add on something, right? So my thing is like, go beyond what they are telling you that you need, right? So then you make provisions for if you add something that has something to do with power, right? Then you know that, hey, you have that, you make there's accommodation to do that. So I wouldn't go with their 10 kVA. I don't even think anybody should even start with, unless maybe it's a 2 bedroom somewhere, chamber hall, you do think, okay, but 4 or 5 bedrooms, I'll say go 15, especially for generators, because you can get good price for 15 and up and stuff like that. So it's just about not just taking things blindly. It's about, you have to, you see, the challenge about building in Ghana is like, if we do hands off, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay prices multiple ways. So you want to be, it's your house. I tell people it's your house. You're paying for it. You run it. You run it. You are the leader. You run. You set the conditions. You set the pace. And you have to tell people what to do. Doesn't have to do with age. Doesn't have to do anything. You just have to tell, because they don't see certain things. It's not their vision. It's not their vision, so they don't see it. So you have to make sure that people are doing exactly what you want, and then double check everything. It's money. It's business. It has nothing to do with trust. I can work with somebody that I don't trust on a certain way, but if we can do business, we can do business. And there's some people that I trust, but we can't do business because it's like it's not gonna work. Because of, like, how they see things on certain things. So it's just like that. So whatever they give you, because Ghana, they tell you everything. They tell you everything you want to hear. So you got to take it with a grain of salt and then do some little digging. Okay. And stuff. I know, like, sometimes they are making some of the generators in Ghana. Either they make them over there or they assemble them over there. But for me, I went for the European brand because, like, I feel like the power needs are similar and stuff like that. So that is how I did it. I'm thinking about doing that. So that's the route I'll go. Okay, so hopefully the calculation makes sense. Makes sense. You can look at it. You can plug in whatever numbers that you're thinking about and stuff like that. And then keep plugging this things. It's a journey. It's a long journey of hard work and sacrifices and stuff like that. So then when I come back, because so a lot of things gonna change, in my life when I come back and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward for the next adventure. Life is about moving forward and just taking chances. Okay, failure is always an option. It's a possibility. But so what, right? So, but you gotta go there and then do something. And try something and stuff like that. So for me, the next adventure is, as I'm wrapping up in this thing, I want to take 2 weeks rest, and then the next thing will be just business. So even when I come back, the channel is going to change a little bit. I'm going to have like a business channel, kind of like thinking about how to wrap this thing. This will become more like setting updates, kind of like a vlogging thing, and then the other channel will be like or the other avenues will be more like the business stuff, right? Like where we just talk about doing business, how I can help you guys, whatever you need, and that kind of stuff, and stuff, because I think it's needed. But unless I get, do you think most people want to go to Ghana and start a business? Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like you see, the thing is, like, you gotta plan well, right? There are times that people, like some people, they can just throw away everything they're doing, like they get a job and all that stuff, and then they'll go start like some business. They'll just go in. I mean, it's like that's a whole different level of like courage, right? And then for most people, it's like you have to kind of like dip your feet in there a little bit, have some backup here and there before you go in. So it's like at the end of the day, right? You can see what other people are doing. Like some people move to Ghana and then they make it work, right? Some people move to Ghana and they are making it work, and then some people move to Ghana and it didn't work, right? So you look at the whole spectrum, but then you gotta know who you are, right? You gotta know your tendencies, right? And your options. So it's different for like I didn't find a reason why like I wanted to move, because I was like, okay, I don't have a house, I don't have a vehicle, I don't have, XYZ and stuff like that. So I didn't want it to do that, right? But some people, they can do that. So it's like it's at the end of the day, it's like you gotta plan well. You gotta plan, according to your situation, and so you can see other people's thing, and and advise yourself. So when people say, should I move down there? I'm like, it depends. Do you have 3 years of income that if you go to Ghana that you don't succeed, you can still sustain yourself financially. You can still take care of if you get sick, medically, and that kind of stuff. Do you have that? If you do, maybe you can make the job. If you don't, then maybe, work work towards that. The one that I looked at, I think is made by AG Powers. I think they're in England. A for Alpha, J for Johnny. Powers. Yeah, so that is a company. I think that's a company that makes the generator that a different company in Ghana sells, and stuff like that. So once, I'm gonna make that decision because I'm kind of like right now, I'm kind of like trying to get some little other things, done. Because when I go, I don't want to like spend most of my time trying to put things in the house. So I'm trying to get a lot of things done, and then I just have to do a little bit because I think I need a break. I need a break to recharge and then come back and go full speed. Okay, so solar company, yes, I can recommend them. I mean, I've only so I saw a couple of companies. The thing for me is like if I go to your website and it doesn't even look good, I just don't even call you, because you're not serious. I've had to call some people in Ghana to tell them their website is down. That's ridiculous. So there's like the only company that I can recommend is the one that I was working with, but I also think that they are super expensive. They are super expensive. So, but I'll put their information in after the video in the. You can contact them and um, maybe they can work with you with certain things. There's other companies that people have recommended, but I haven't really, checked them out or anything. So I just don't want to throw them out there. So I'm trying to be responsible, where I send you guys. Okay, so we are okay. All right, so that is it for now. If you have any questions, you can where to find me and stuff. So do your homework, okay, and then depending on whether the AC is done and the touch up everything is done next week, I'll send. I like the AC company. I like working with them. Yeah, I thought that they were very professional and stuff like that. I got a recommendation from a friend, so but I'll post that video and then do a live stream when I think is needed. I don't want to be just coming on live stream because it's like, I mean, I love talking to you guys. I can do it every day, but I also want to make sure it's like something of value. Okay. Anyway, thank you much, and then keep sharing the video, subscribing and stuff. And then send me questions, email, whatever you need. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Bye.